South Carolina Oyster Festival is this weekend. Now, I'm from the Low Country. First of all, welcome everybody.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for coming in today. I'm from the Low Country. Oyster roasts are a big part of our culture. Here in the Midlands, you don't see it as much. So you guys are bringing us not only the oyster roast, but the entire Oyster Festival, which is a pretty good, natural crop of our state, by the way.
Yeah, it is, and we kind of modeled it after the Boone Hall Low Country Oyster Festival they have in Charleston every year, and kind of want to bring some of the Low Country here to the Midlands.
Okay, so this is, do I want to say like the 17th?
17th annual.
And are you drawing big crowds?
We draw big crowds with good weather, so we're going to have great weather Sunday, so we're looking forward to a huge crowd of oyster eaters. We also have several other food vendors, but Pearls is our oyster vendor this year again, and we're very happy to have them on board.
And Mike, you work at Pearls, yes?
Absolutely, yes I do.
Tell me a little bit about Pearls and why they are excited to be involved in the festival.
Well, this is our second year, and we had a great first year last year. It was an experience for me that we haven't done here in Columbia. Obviously, we've done things in the past in Charleston, but to see that kind of excitement in the Midlands was refreshing, because normally, like you said, people aren't exposed to oysters in this region. So it was good to pair with Liquid Assets and Shawn, and we had a very good event last year. Mother Nature didn't bless us with the best of weather last year, but we've talked, and this year she promises to keep the rain away. So.
Okay, I'm not going to get in the middle of you and Mother Nature, because believe me, I've gotten caught up in that battle before. Question for you. Do you guys use May River oysters? This is where I'm from, and I happen to be very proud of our May River oysters.
May River oysters are very popular in the Low Country. However, they do not make the trip to the Midlands very often.
And why is that? Do you find them substandard, or are you just
not at all?
Your taste?
Not at all. They're very good, but they come from a very a finite location, and the people in that area are kind of fanatical about that oyster,
yes,
so they don't allow it to come to us very often.
All right, guess you're gonna have to get down to the Low Country and check that out. What oysters do you see being very popular at Pearls?
Well, for this particular event, we're doing our Gulf oyster, which is a select oyster. It's coming from this one will be from the Alabama seacoast, and they are a plump, juicy oyster, and we've got some here to sample a little bit later on, but it will be a nice, big, juicy oyster.
And question for you too, are we going to have any cooked oyster dishes like oysters Rockefeller for those who might not be into the...
We do have a vendor that's doing an oyster gumbo this year, along with fried oysters to go along, accompany with the buckets of steamed oysters that Pearls has. So we do have a couple different oyster recipes that integrate the oyster in it. The love of the oyster. The
love of the oyster. I hope somebody's making some oyster stuffing, because Thanksgiving is next weekend, and that's a popular Southern dish. Yeah. All right, so you guys are going to stick around and show me how to throw a proper oyster roast here in a few minutes?
That's right.
All right, they're going to teach me how to shuck too. You might see blood. Stick around. We'll be back with that. Thank you for staying with us. That's right, it's the South Carolina Oyster Festival. Now, coming from the Low Country, I've been to many oyster roasts, but I've never thrown one. So we have Mike Evans from Pearls, Shawn Rankin from Liquid Assets here to give me a little schooling on how to do this. So first of all, let's talk about throwing an oyster roast. What do people need to gather? What kind of tools do you need? Do you need to buy a bunch of stuff?
Well, first of all, you need some good oysters, which we all use single selects, which are the not clusters, just the single oysters. And then you need a good shuck or a knife in order to pry into them.
So when people see oysters in clusters, that's a bad thing?
No, not necessarily. It's just a different, these are just single selects, which means they're just one oyster per shell.
And you find that's superior to the clusters?
We think so. It depends.
Well,
it's all difference in flavor too.
Right. Well, if you're gonna eat them raw, you got to eat them as a select, because it's very difficult to eat a raw oyster out of a cluster.
Got you.
And so when you do an oyster roast, a lot of times you'll have clusters, because you can sit there and work at it and have that sense of accomplishment when you're just making a mess. Right.
Okay, that's what I've seen. All right. Okay, next steps.
Well, you can either steam them, or a lot of people like to roast them actually. So you can either do a steamer, which is a turkey fryer with a basket where the steam actually cooks the oysters and opens them for you.
Okay.
But a lot of people like to do them on campfires. You can actually put them on a pan with a fire underneath. You can cover them with a burlap sack.
That's what I've seen on the beach, kind of burying them on the beach.
There's a lot of different ways to do it, but we're going to steam them all on Sunday. But a lot of people who do it themselves like to do it over a fire, over open flame, cover them with a burlap sack, wait till they pop open.
How long does that generally take?
6 to 8 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Depends on how hot the fire is.
All right, all right. So then they pop up with next. What do you do next?
Well, then it's time to eat.
Okay.
And you kind of either dump them on the table, and everybody kind of gathers around, gets their shuckers, and opens them up, and usually eat them with crackers, hot sauce, Tabasco,
Yes, if you're gonna go
cocktail
raw.
sauce, drawn butter.
Now, let's talk about shucking, because I'm nervous. I'm going to be doing the shucking. I'm going to be taking part in the shucking contest, which is behind the Hampton-Preston Mansion.
That's right in front of the main stage.
Okay, so
Around 1 o'clock.
I'm not good at this. I'm a poor shucker, so you guys need to help me out because I don't want to embarrass everybody.
Well, Shawn's going to show us how to open up the most important part of opening an oyster is being careful, because you're using a dagger that could draw blood.
Okay.
And it's not going to happen to you, Alexis. I have supreme faith that you're going to make it right. So, but he's going to show us the proper technique. Obviously, you want to come in from that back end.
Yeah, you want to come in from the back, which a lot of people are aware of, and right here in the joint. And you just kind of want to work the knife in. And what you want to do is, it's all in the wrist action. You just want to get in there and a little twist.
So you're kind of just using some torque to
That's
pry
right.
it? That's
Exactly
it?
right.
And you notice how he's pushing away from his body, because if he slips, that means the knife goes that way. If you're
as
coming
opposed
back
to-
into yourself, if you slip,
I've seen people doing that,
yeah,
too.
you don't want to do that.
Are
Right.
gloves suggested?
Gloves are suggested. Everyone will have the opportunity to have towels and such, so we will provide some level of safety. But once you get the knife in your hand, all bets are
right,
off.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And that's pretty much it. You just kind of come in here, and once you pry it, and then you just twist it. And
let's
there
show
you are.
everybody what we got.
Yeah.
Oh, look how beautiful that is.
And you have to cut the foot here, which will get the oyster to you, and then you're ready to go.
I might have to come to Pearls and do some pre-competition practice. Do we find any pearls in here?
You do eventually. You do every now and then. You'll find a pearl, but they're not the beautiful white pearls that you wear around your neck. They're a dark, kind of earthy toned.
All right. No diamonds? It's okay. You wouldn't be using them if you found them.
That's right. Well,
Okay.
not yet.
Well, sorry, that's an inside joke. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the Oyster Festival. Come see me out there. Please root me on. Mike Evans says he's going to endorse me, and I certainly hope I don't embarrass everybody. So come on out to the Oyster Festival. We got the Rival Brothers here who will be playing at the festival. They're going to be in the studio in just a few minutes.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Bring your shuckers. We'll see you Sunday.
Bring those shuckers.